Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Doyle from Blue Corona here. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to join us on today's webinar, where we're going to talk about the future of SEO. If you have a question throughout the webinar today, please click on the little triangle next to the word questions in your GoToWebinar panel and type in your question there. We'll do our best to answer any and all questions at the end, but we certainly want to make sure that no one who has a question forgets it. So go ahead, click that little triangle in the questions panel at any point, type in your question, and we'll address them at the end. One last thing here before we get started. Again, we want to say thank you to everyone joining us today. And as a show of our appreciation, we are actually giving away an Amazon gift card at the conclusion of this webinar. So in order to qualify for and be entered to win that Amazon gift card, please complete the brief survey at the conclusion of the webinar. It will automatically pop up for you. And please provide us your feedback. We value it. We want to know what we can improve upon, what you found valuable in the webinar, and of course, any suggestions for any future topics you would like to learn more about when it comes to digital marketing. So stick around until the end, fill out that survey, and you're automatically entered to win. The winner will be notified via email by the end of the week. So if you do complete that survey, keep an eye out from an email from us notifying you that you are the lucky winner. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to jump into the future of SEO. So throughout today's webinar, we're going to talk about a few things. First and foremost, we're going to give you a quick background about Blue Corona, and then we're going to cover the history of SEO. So to understand search engine optimization and really where we are today and how we got here is really going to help us set you up for success for the future and understanding what SEO strategies to focus on both now and into the future to set your company up for success in 2020, 2021, and even beyond, of course, and then we'll answer our questions at the end. So first, a little bit about Blue Corona. So Blue Corona is a digital marketing company. However, we like to really look at ourselves as digital marketing partners with our clients. And as your partner, it's really our job to help you accomplish three things. Increase your leads and sales, i.e. help your company grow. Optimize your marketing costs and differentiate your brand online. So again, we're helping you build that revenue, hit your growth goals, save some money where you can in your pay-per-click campaigns and other marketing campaigns, and make sure the ROI is as high as possible. And then lastly, differentiating your brand from your competitors in the market competing for the same customer base. We are a team of more than 80 marketers across our 2 office locations. We are headquartered in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and then our second office location is in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're a proud member of the Inc. 5000 Hall of Fame. We actually just got word of our Inc. 5000 ranking this year, and we're proud to be a member of that Inc. 5000 Hall of Fame. So we have been on that list for 8 years in a row. This is our 8th year as one of the fastest growing privately held companies in America. But in addition to that, we also like to, again, as partners, partner with the agencies and organizations and networks that best help our clients, take our clients to the next level. So we're proud partners with the Vistage organization, the Nexstar Network, and the Air Conditioning Contractors of America, also known as ACA. And not only that, we are a certified Microsoft advertising partner in addition to being a Google Premier partner. That Google Premier partner status is reserved for the top 2% of marketing agencies in the country that partner with Google. So we're really proud of that distinction. And everything we're going to cover in today's webinar is in line with what Google has identified as what is the future of SEO. So first, again, let's take a quick look back about the evolution of SEO and really how we got here today. So way back all the way in 1991, 18 years ago, that was when a gentleman by the name of Tim Berners-Lee launched the first website on the internet. So 1991 is when the first website was launched. And then skipping forward 3 years, we get to 1994. And SEO, or search engine optimization, wasn't quite a thing just yet. in 1994. However, a guy by the name of Eric Ward was the first to publicly publish a call for people, other businesses, to link back to his own website based on their relevancy and the connection to his business. So in 1994, Eric Ward was really the pioneer of what we know today as backlinking or backlinking strategies and how that can impact SEO. A few years later, in 1998, Google launches its search engine, and that's really where SEO really began to take off. And business owners and marketing people really started to understand the power of search engines and Google in particular. A few years later, in 2003, SEO is in its infancy. Companies are using search engine optimization to generate new leads and sign more customers. However, the tactics used to rank highly on Google and get that high organic search visibility were somewhat spammy compared to what they are today. So in 2003, keyword stuffing was actually a really big tactic. And on the screen here, you can see an example of what keyword stuffing looks like. For example, if a business's target keywords, they're selling affordable plane tickets, one of their target keywords might be cheap flights. And keyword stuffing was really the practice of jamming your website content with your relevant keywords to the point where it sounds unnatural and quite frankly just doesn't read correctly. Are you looking for cheap flights? Well, you have come to the place for cheap flights. We sold cheap flights to your cousin only last week. That's where keyword stuffing really comes into play, and it worked back in 2003. But us SEOs were really glad it doesn't work here today. In 2008, 5 years later, Google debuts what is known as the suggestion box. The suggestion box is the recommended searches at the bottom or top of your search page of Google that show you relevant searches to whatever you searched in the first place. So if you're looking for cheap flights again, that suggestion box might say something like affordable flights, affordable plane tickets, where can I buy cheap flights, and so on. And what the suggestion box in 2008 did was really give SEO companies like Blue Corona further insight into how users are surfing the web and interacting with certain pages, and really shifted the focus away from the business and to the consumer. Okay, so 2008, we really start to see Google prioritizing what consumers want to see or what the searchers actually want to see, and not what's important to business owners or SEO companies. In 2011, we see another shift towards the consumers coming from Google. So in 2011, the Panda update was released, and you'll see here that Google likes to name their algorithm updates over cute little animals. So in 2011, we have the Panda update, and this was, again, another big shift towards the consumer side of things for Google. And what Panda did was reward with higher search rankings and more organic traffic websites that are providing relevant content to its users, information-rich content, and on the flip side, penalized websites or decreased their rankings, resulting in a lot lower traffic if those websites were providing their users with weak or poor quality content or duplicate content in Google's eyes. So in 2011, we really start to see, again, that shift take place from business to consumer. Then in 2012, we have the Penguin update. And the Penguin update was another shift towards being consumer focused and staying within Google's webmaster guidelines. So each year, Google publishes this big long document, hundred of pages, that basically is their webmaster guidelines. And if you as a business owner or your SEO company or digital marketing partner stays within those parameters, stays within the parameters of the Google webmaster guidelines, you should be okay. You shouldn't be penalized by anything. You should be rewarded with higher search rankings. And at the same time, if you're playing outside of the lines, so to speak, you may be penalized by things like spammy backlink profiles or trying to manipulate rankings with weird redirects and just content that's not really relevant. In 2013, Google publicly stated that they are rewarding websites that focus efforts into engaging users by answering their questions with rich, informational, original content. And again, this goes to and is only supporting what Google had said over the previous couple of years about content and making the switch over to being consumer focused. In 2015, two important updates happened. We had Google debuted RankBrain, and RankBrain is machine learning technology that learns exactly like humans do. So it's artificial intelligence, if you will, that analyzes the Google algorithm and search results in people's searches and evolves over time, learning along the way to provide better search results for those customers like you and I and everyone in this room who may be searching on Google. And then also in 2015, we had Mobilegeddon, and Mobilegeddon was it was the day dubbed by industry experts. It was April 21st, 2015, and this was the drop dead date that Google said, hey business owners, you need to have a mobile friendly website. Otherwise, you might not rank as high on Google. So if you weren't mobile friendly, your rankings may suffer. If you were mobile friendly and your competitors are not, you're going to be rewarded with higher keyword rankings on the search results. And that really still reigns true here today. In 2016, Google's former head of search, Andrew Lepatiev, confirms the three most important ranking factors to rank number one or highly on Google are backlinks, content, and RankBrain. Okay, so Google publicly comes out and states in 2016 what many industry experts have pretty much known or wanted to confirm all along, that backlinks, content, and RankBrain were primary ranking factors. Which brings us here to 2019, or today, so to speak, where by and large, everything is the same with some few updates here and there in between from Google, but no real significant updates. Content still reigns king, along with mobile friendliness and consumer intent. But what about tomorrow? What about 3, 6, 12 months down the road, and even 2, 5, 10 years down the road? Where is the future of Google heading? Okay, and what is Google going to be rewarding, and how can you take advantage of it? So based on various industry studies that have been published recently, as well as our own analysis of our proprietary data here at Blue Corona, Google's heading in a few different directions. But number one, they are going to continue to prioritize consumer intent, okay, and providing users or people using the search engine with the answers to what they're looking for. No matter if they're looking to buy a new pair of Under Armour running shoes, or reserve a table at a favorite restaurant for you and your spouse, or you're a local HVAC company and I need my air conditioner repaired, Google is going to prioritize the consumer intent behind their search queries. Mobile. Google is going to continue to push to have mobile-friendly websites, to have a fast mobile website, and have a great mobile user experience. And again, we're going to talk about those here in just a few minutes. But we also see Google heading down the path of voice search. I'm sure a lot of you in attendance today are familiar with voice search and voice SEO and optimizing your website. That really ties back into the use of things like Alexa-enabled devices and Apple iPhones, Google Android phones, and the use of Google Assistant to optimize your website for voice search. The rise of voice assistant-enabled devices is on the rise and has risen exponentially over the past 2 to 3 years, and we expect that trend to only continue. And lastly, Google is going to continue to prioritize two things: localization and authority. As a local business owner, studies show that 90% of all consumers make a purchase within 10 to 15 minutes of where they live or where they work. And as a local business owner, that means that making sure your website ranks highly on Google and is found in organic search results in the local communities you want to service or sell your product in is going to be of utmost importance. And lastly, we want your real world authority to be reflected online, and that's what Google wants as well. You're the expert in the products you sell or the services you offer, but Google doesn't necessarily know that. So they want that authority to be reflected online through various metrics, and they like to see various things included in your campaigns and website. And again, we'll talk about how to leverage that authority here in some of these new SEO strategies to help set yourself up and your company up for success in the future. So now that we've taken a look at the evolution of SEO, we understand what the future of Google holds and where they're heading and what Google is prioritizing. Let's look at 7 different SEO strategies that you should be focusing on now in order to set yourself up for success in the future. So if you haven't guessed already, number 1 is going to be, you need to be thinking mobile first. Gone are the days where a new website design is designed for the desktop or a laptop computer. You should be thinking about your mobile design, your website design on mobile first. What does it look like on a mobile phone? And any mobile phone, iPhones, Androids, Galaxies. You want to make sure that you are thinking mobile first, and not only the website design, how you display content, and the methodology used to display that SEO content that's going to result in better search engine rankings. You also want to build a fast website, both across mobile and desktop. You want to be building your brand, and not only that, you want to be linking back to it, okay? And we're going to talk about how branded organic search plays into the rest of your SEO campaigns here coming up. Again, you want to answer users' questions. You want to provide rich informational content that is content that you own in order to provide the most value to those searchers and answer whatever questions they have or solve whatever pain points they have. You want to make sure you're optimizing for voice search. Again, we're going to cover a few different ways to do that here, but voice search is the way of the future. And you want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success. And not only that, you want to be maximizing your online real estate with things like Google My Business reviews and reviews around other places on the web, your local pack, or some people know that as the maps listings, rich snippets. If it's available on Google, your website should be optimized to take advantage of those, because if it's not, your competitors most likely are taking advantage. And lastly, investing in local SEO. Again, as a local business owner, having that local authority, local backlinks, and investing in local SEO is going to be absolutely critical to helping you rank within those 10 to 15 minutes of where consumers are purchasing, and more specifically in the areas that you want to be ranking for. For example, if you're an HVAC contractor who services a 25-mile radius from your warehouse or from your office, you want to make sure you're showing up in all 25 little towns and cities and areas that you could be within that 25-mile radius. So let's take a look at thinking mobile first. Again, this isn't just having a mobile website. Thinking mobile first and being mobile first is more of a state of mind, and it's the actions you take. So it's important to understand why this is, why Google prioritizes mobile friendliness. So again, going back to April 21st, 2015, Google says if you're not mobile friendly or have a mobile friendly website by April 21st, your mobile website rankings are going to suffer because of it, and your competitors will rank higher. So when we think about that, that was 2015. Google had 2 different indexes, and Google's index is literally just their memory bank of search results that they can choose from to display their results. So it has this giant memory bank. That's its index. And back in 2015, Google had 2 separate indexes to pull from for search results. So your company would have rankings for desktop search. So when someone's searching on a laptop or a home computer, you might rank number 1 on desktop search. However, it also had in 2015 a mobile index. And you, instead of ranking number 1 on desktop, you might rank number 5 or worse, number 20 on mobile. Now, since then, Google has actually combined those 2 indexes, and Google's only index at the moment is only a mobile index. So how you rank on desktop is determined by how well your website is optimized for mobile search. And although that might seem kind of backwards, unfortunately, Google is the government here, and they're laying down the law. So, we have to be thinking mobile first. Studies show that 38% of people stop engaging with a website if its content or layout is unattractive or quite frankly, frustrating to use. And those 38% of people, if they're having a poor experience on your website, let's say it's not mobile friendly and they need to pinch the screen to zoom in, or they can't navigate freely and have a frictionless experience, studies show that 38% are going to abandon your website and go back to the search results, which is going to have a really big impact on your search rankings. That would have a really big negative impact, and you're going to rank lower. We know that, and Google has published studies that showed that more than 50% of all web traffic out there today is coming from mobile devices, and it's only adding more fuel to the fire to be mobile friendly. But on top of that, build a really fast website. So we know user experience is a Google ranking factor on mobile and for its index of search results. We know that when customers abandon your website and go back to search results, that your bounce rate increases and your search rankings decrease. Okay, so it's really important to give users what they want high up on the page on a mobile device. And you can really see that here in this example with GAC services. We have a call to action here for the user to see why GAC services is different and why they should choose them as their local contractor of choice. And then users are also given several different options. They can click to call, they can navigate using the mobile menu, or they can go ahead and start booking their appointment with the services needed using this need service contact form. So really prioritizing and understanding why people would be coming to your website and providing that information up front as soon as you can on your mobile device, and thinking mobile first is always going to benefit you when it comes to your organic search rankings, and Google is going to reward that if you're able to do it well. I mentioned it before, but you want your mobile website and your desktop site to be blazing fast, okay? So build a fast website. Studies show that 80% of a page's load time is spent downloading all the different elements that display a website. So all the code and that is telling your website server how to display your website to customers, the colors, the images that display, the forms, the phone numbers are up there. That's all lives in the code in the back end of the website. And the more files you have, the more plugins, the more bells and whistles, those features, the more likely that your page is going to be very slow to load. Page load time is also a Google ranking factor. When you think about it from a user perspective, how many of you in attendance today have ever been surfing a website on your phone or wanted to surf a website and it just took too long to load? You got sick and tired of it. So you probably clicked the back button and went to the next search result. And that's really what a slow website can do. That's going to, again, increase your bounce rate and decrease your search engine rankings. And not only that, Google estimates that for every one delay in page load time, 1 second delay in page load time can result in up to 11% fewer page views and a 7% loss in conversions. Okay, so for every additional second that your website takes to load, you're potentially missing out on 11% of visitors. And out of every 100 visitors that come to your website, every additional second, you're losing 7 different leads that come to your site because it, quite frankly, is just taking too long. So in order to build a fast website, what you see here on the screen are a few different ways that you or your current digital marketing partner or Blue Corona, these are the common low-hanging fruit, so to speak, in how you can help maximize your website's load time and build a blazing fast website. So, of course, number one, you want to make sure you're minimizing your image file size, okay? So large, beautiful images that span the whole width of the desktop or of the user's screen, those are large images. There's a reason why they're high quality, they're high def. Okay, but unfortunately, the problem with large image file sizes, that's more to load. But by running those images through some online compressors and optimizing those images to reduce the file size is going to be some quick ways to help bring down that load time and build a fast website. Now, similarly, Third-party scripts or non-critical page elements on mobile devices can also significantly slow down your page load time. For example, if you work with ReviewBuzz to generate more customer reviews, ReviewBuzz uses an additional script that needs to be installed on your website in order for those reviews to populate. Okay, and scripts like that have to be installed are just adding to the code and weighing down your website and slowing it down. So we encourage you to work with a webmaster like we have here at Blue Corona to help identify the areas that you can either minimize or defer to load secondary to what is critical on your page, you know, things like your phone number, the menu, and what loads above the fold, in order to speed up that load time and build a blazing fast website. And lastly, one of the really big negative impacts we see on slow websites is oftentimes your website hosting provider. You know, a hosting provider is simply a company that you pay for your website files to live on. It's their home, so to speak. And when you have a poor hosting environment that isn't optimized for search, a lot of times that means Google grabbing the files from your hosting provider is going to take a long time, and again, slow down that website load time. Here at Blue Corona, we like to partner with a company called WP Engine. We also work strictly with WordPress websites, and WP Engine is one example of a hosting provider that has done a great job keeping WordPress websites more secure and loading fast. They have additional security measures in place, and then they have things like enhanced browser caching and 24-hour browser caching, CDNs, and some other tools that allow your website to display at lightning speed than if it were just hosted anywhere else. Moving right along, number 3, you want to make sure you're doing your best to build a brand and that you're linking back to the brand, okay? So when it comes to SEO, you know, one important thing to keep in mind is your click-through rate. Now, click-through rate just means what percentage of visitors what percentage of people that see your search result on Google actually click on your company. So out of 100 people, if 10% are actually clicking your result and 90 people are clicking your competitors or something else on the page, your click-through rate is 10%, okay? And branded organic search can really help increase your company's click-through rate. And click-through rate is a significant ranking factor in Google's algorithm. So when Google sees that a lot of people are clicking on your search results, they see that there's value there and people are finding the information that they need, and your website is going to be rewarded with higher keyword rankings. Now, those are also for common keywords. I'm going to use another HVAC example here, like AC repair near me. If your air conditioner breaks down, I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's almost 95 degrees today. I'm going to want someone who knows what they're doing to come out and service my air conditioner quickly. And if I have a contractor in mind that I work with, like Morris Jenkins here on your screen, I'm probably going to Google just Morris Jenkins and click right through to their website. So by building your brand through things like television advertising, radio advertising, community sponsorships, and other ways, allow you to generate more branded organic search. More people are going to be looking for your company name, which is going to, and when they click on your company, it's going to send positive, fortifying ranking signals to Google, and will increase your likelihood of ranking for other, what we call non-branded search terms. So instead of your company name, again, things like air conditioning repair, furnace installation, and so on. At the same time, you want to make sure that you are doing your best job, or your digital marketing partner is doing their best job at claiming any unlinked backlink opportunities, okay? So what that means is if there are local directories out there, like the Better Business Bureau, or maybe the Charlotte Observer, since I'm based here in Charlotte, or wherever these directories live, these are opportunities for you to continue to build your brand and claim unlinked backlink opportunities to your website. You know, you can enter a link to your website, a little about description for your website and your company, and you can, and that sends positive ranking signals, again, back to Google. And that's going to help you rank higher on search engines. Number 4, answer the user's questions. And this is where the user intent and really what is known as content marketing heavily comes into play. So at the end of the day, Google simply wants to provide answers to the user's search term or search query, the keywords they enter. They want to provide those answers, and they want to provide the best answers. And understanding the intent behind what someone is searching goes a long way towards developing a full-blown SEO and content marketing campaign to help increase your organic search rankings, traffic to your website, and ultimately sell more products or book more appointments if you're a service-based company. And there's a couple really cool ways to do that. These are some free tools out there. The Moz tool is paid, but things like the Google Keyword Planner, that Google suggestion box we spoke about earlier, or even Moz Keyword Explorer, these are all tools where you can venture over and type in, something that your company might want to be ranking for. So using this example here, again, sticking with the HVAC, but it's applicable across any industry. We can see here in this example search, someone looked for, why does my AC smell like rotten eggs? Okay, so they've got an issue with their air conditioner smelling, and it's smelling bad, and it smells like rotten eggs. So they Google that, right? That's different to them. They don't know what's happening, so they Google it to do some research. And we really start to see here the Bolden brothers, why does my AC smell bad? They have a blog that ranks really well. We could understand based on that blog title how that would answer the user's question. So maybe the user clicks there. But at the same time, we start to see some more of that consumer or user intent come into play with other companies' content marketing efforts down here in this people also ask section. So this is what's known as a rich snippet. Okay, and when we think about the intent behind someone's air conditioner, they don't know if it's broken or not. All they know is it smells bad. So they type in, why does my air conditioner smell like rotten eggs? And then they also see that people are asking similar questions. Why does my central air smell like rotten eggs? How do I get rid of the smell in my air conditioner? What does Freon leak smell like? What is dirty sock syndrome? Why do I smell rotten eggs in my house? These are all similar things that Google has identified as relevant searches, potentially relevant searches to your keyword, which is air conditioner rotten eggs. And that enables companies like Blue Corona to then put together and understand user intent behind certain keywords. So if your keyword is Under Armour shoes, that might be a little difficult. You might not understand this consumer intent behind that. We can make an assumption that someone is looking for a new pair of shoes, but we don't know if they're looking for men's shoes, for women's shoes, what size or color they're looking for, a particular model shoe. And by understanding the user's intent, by gathering search volumes, competitive search metrics for various keywords related to your company, you can start to frame that user intent and understand what content you need to publish in order to go rank highly on Google. Should you create a blog, an FAQs page? Maybe you have some explainer videos that you place strategically on some of your blogs to help increase engagement on those, to help increase website traffic and ultimately keyword rankings. Optimizing for voice search. Okay, so we talked about voice search a little bit. Voice search is only going to increase in popularity into the future. Amazon is actually working on right now an Alexa-enabled microwave. I'm not sure what people would need that for, but it's happening, okay? So we see the rise of voice search, and studies have shown that in the US, 96% of small businesses are not voice search ready. And that comes from an analysis of over 75,000 small business websites across the US. So when we think about that 96% of who aren't ready, on the flip side of that, only 4% are optimized for voice search. And that's a huge area of opportunity for your company to differentiate itself online and maximize the search results, particularly when it's coming from voice search. And a couple of ways to optimize your website for voice search. Number one, lock down your NAP. NAP stands for your business's name, address, and phone number. Okay, so you want to make sure that your NAP citations or directory listings or directory citations, business citations, those are all the same thing. And you want those, your NAP information to be found on any directory you can, and you want that information to be 100% consistent and correct. According to Search Engine Land, right now, currently, Google uses 37 different directories to feed into their voice search platforms. So those are things like Google Maps. Have you claimed your Google My Business page and you have a listing on Google Maps? Bing Places, that's Bing's version of Google My Business. Have you claimed, optimized, and entered your name, address, phone number, your website, hours of operation, your street address? Have you added all of those things on Bing Places, on Yelp, on Facebook, and all the other 30 some odd places that Google pulls in information from their voice search? So if you can optimize and just simply set up your listings and verify those listings as needed, that is going to increase your likelihood of ranking in Google's voice search results. Google Assistants also pull their answers from rich snippets, which we're going to talk about here next. But rich snippets, again, are things like the suggestion box or those question and answer boxes, similar questions. They can be image carousels or video links up at the top, but anything that's not an ad or a traditional organic ranking on Google can qualify as a rich snippet. And so Google, when it's providing organic search results through its voice assistants, actually pulls from those rich snippets. So by adding schema markup in order to optimize your blogs or your service pages to claim those rich snippets is gonna pay off in dividends when it comes to voice search. Google's also currently testing INSERP. INSERP just stands for Search Engine Results Page. So on its page, it's currently testing functionality where it would allow users to set appointments for spas, book a reservation at a restaurant, and so on, directly through Google, and they never have to go to the restaurant's website, for example. So if I'm Sal's Pizza down the street here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I take reservations, Google's moving towards a direction of not even directing people to your website, Sal, and it wants people to interact with their own web pages, and rich snippets are a great way to claim those pages as well as optimizing your website for INSERP appointments. Now that INSERP appointments, we fully anticipate Google, once it's perfected, to roll out across the nation for virtually anyone who may be able to book an appointment or consultation of some sort. So lawyers book an appointment at the doctor's office. So it could potentially have some really big impact across a variety of industries. And then lastly, Google Local Services ads. Now that's not directly impacting SEO. However, if you're investing in local services ads, Google actually does pull some of their organic results directly from who's investing in those ads. So expanding your marketing investments to more than just SEO or organic search and into local services ads, if you work in an industry where that's applicable, can also help optimize your website and your SEO campaign for organic voice search, even though they themselves, Google Local Services ads, are a paid advertising channel. Number 6, how do you maximize that online real estate? So going back to rich snippets and things like that, you want to make sure you're taking advantage of everything Google has to offer. What you see here in the example screenshot for Acosta Heating and Cooling is what's called a knowledge graph. A knowledge graph is simply all the information that you enter into your Google My Business profile that displays on Google when someone searches your company name, or maybe when Google has identified your company as the #1 search result. So to maximize your online real estate, optimize your Google My Business page for the knowledge graph. Okay, provide your address, your business hours, your phone, answer any questions that you may have, generate those Google reviews. Those are all going to help increase your organic search rankings for all the keywords that you're currently tracking or trying to rank highly for. Of course, we have other parts of organic search results, such as the local search results, the local pack and the maps listings, or maybe you just want to rank on regular organic search results. Places like that air conditioner smelling like rotten eggs blog is a great way to generate traffic and increase rankings and increase your click-through rates at a national level and just rank highly for those organic search results. But it's also important to optimize your website for local search results. So in your heading tags, your H1s, your H2s, your title tags, meta descriptions, within the content of your website, you should be making sure that you are adding your relevant service areas or where you operate out of if you're a service-based business, which everyone in attendance or for the most part is. Now, if you operate on a national or even international level, that's where when the local search results are still important, but it wouldn't be as important as ranking in your traditional search results. Rich snippets, again, if you're able to claim rich snippets like this, that is going to occupy more real estate on Google and real estate that your competitors cannot occupy. So again, through the use of schema markup language, your on-page SEO factors like heading tags, title tags, meta descriptions, as well as the just general format of the content. Are you producing high quality content? Is it at least 1,000 words long? Those are all going to help you claim the rich snippet. And again, you can supplement those blogs with like FAQ schema markup or question and answer schema markup that will help you claim these rich snippets and keep those rich snippets versus your competitors. Of course, we always want to optimize for the local pack and local listings as well. So again, Google My Business and that knowledge graph is going to be super important to ranking your company in this local pack if you're a service area business. So, when I say service area businesses, that can also include not only home service contractors, but lawyers who are pulling from a local set of customers, healthcare organizations, let's say in urgent care, for example. Ranking on these maps listings is going to be super important in things like generating more Google reviews, generating a higher average review rating, as well as claiming your NAP information and optimizing your Google My Business page are all going to help you outrank your competitors and secure a spot in this local pack rankings versus being found underneath in the traditional rankings. And lastly, number 7, invest in local SEO. Okay, so we've already talked about ways that you can invest in local SEO that doesn't involve backlinks or anything like that. And your NAP citations, your Google My Business page, displaying your service area or the areas you want to service customers in on your website are all very important local SEO factors. But there's also outside SEO factors that come into play when it comes to how well you rank in the local areas you want to rank in. And again, some of those things are like consistent and correct NAP citations are going to result in better search rankings. So you want to have local listings created at the Better Business Bureau and different directories that are owned and operated by within your local community. But you also want to make sure that you're generating local backlinks. Okay, so backlinks, again, when another business's website links to yours as a source for information or an additional resource, those provide value because Google says, hey, 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning is a resource that John Smith Heating and Air down the street linked to, and that could be a really good reason, in that sense, fortifying signals to Google that you are the authority in your local market. So some non-traditional places that companies get backlinks from at the local level that you might not think of are things like news articles and media mentions. I understand for local companies, sometimes it's hard to be featured in the news, but if you are, or if you're called for a quote, always ask the publisher to link back to your company. News outlets are regarded as high quality, high authority, and getting any backlinks you can from newsworthy type places in your local community is going to send strong local SEO signals to Google and ultimately help you rank higher. Now, another kind of under the radar tactic in order to generate high quality local backlinks are things like community sponsorships. A ton of youth sports leagues, various fundraising events, or different member organizations throughout the communities are always looking for sponsors, and they oftentimes or almost always are looking at the local level for sponsors, neighboring businesses who want to grow their own company just like they do. So youth sports leagues, different member organizations, church organizations, things like that are great ways to be listed on that organization's website and get a backlink from your sponsorship. We've had countless clients here at Blue Corona generate several backlinks just by simply sponsoring a little league team or a softball team or maybe a youth basketball team that has a website and they're listed as a sponsor. And again, those are all great ways to show that you're involved in the community, helps increase that brand awareness and potentially some branded organic search as well, in addition to your local SEO factors that are going to be sent to Google and rank higher on Google. Last but not least, you want to make sure you're never, ever just engaging in any sort of link swapping just for the sake of trying to gain Google's algorithm. You never want to try to fool Google's algorithm, because if so, you'll probably be caught. So if you've got a buddy down the street that runs a business similar to yours, or maybe your friendly competitors, never ever engage in link swapping just for the sake of doing it. You want to make sure that you are providing value for your website visitors by linking to someone else. And the same thing, when someone else links back to you, they want to be making sure that they are providing value to the user when thinking about that consumer intent and what Google prioritizes, not just you share a link, I'll share a link, and we'll call it a day, because you may be penalized by Google from that. So to recap, again, you want to make sure you're thinking mobile first. Mobile should not be secondary to desktop search. Everything you do should have mobile in mind, from creating videos to how you share those videos, to your organic presence, your heading tags, your site speed, your user experience. All of those are going to come into play when it comes to thinking mobile first. And of course, you want a blazing fast website across desktop search and across your mobile devices. You want to continually be building your brand and making sure you're doing everything in your power to link back to it to help generate a high quality backlink profile in order to rank higher on Google and set yourself up for success when it comes to SEO long into the future. You want to answer the user's questions through and understand that consumer intent. You want to optimize for those voice search using search terms like near me throughout your content, and local backlinks, local NAP citations. All that is going to help you rank higher in voice search organically. You want to be taking advantage and maximizing all the online real estate available to you with things like Google My Business reviews, Facebook reviews, really any reviews, those local pack listings being pulled from your Google My Business profile, rich snippets, question and answer schema. All of these things are going to help you maximize your real estate and minimize your competitors' activity online. And lastly, invest in local SEO. You never want to neglect the community around you. That's where you're drawing a lot of your customers from. So be engaged in the community and claim those backlinks where possible, whether it's a news article or, again, a little league team that you sponsored and you're listed as a sponsor on the website. Don't let them just throw your logo up. You want them to link back to you as well. And that brings us to the conclusion of today's webinar. Looks like we have a couple questions here already, but if you haven't, feel free to go ahead and type in your questions now. Again, click the little triangle next to where it says questions in your GoToWebinar panel. Type in your question and send it on over, and we will get to answering. So first couple questions here today. Do review platforms hurt or help SEO? I use Pulse M. Review platforms, to answer your question, can both hurt and help SEO. So they can help SEO in the sense that some platforms, and I'd have to dig into Pulse M and other platforms that you have questions about here, but I would have to first take a look at how those platforms are integrating with your website. And I say they can both hurt and help SEO. So that, or I say they can both hurt and help SEO because it can hurt SEO if you're using a third-party script to pull in your reviews to your website. Again, that's going to be extra coding that's going to slow down your site and possibly result in lower search rankings. But at the same time, if they're not using a third-party script and are pulling in your reviews or manually entering your reviews to your website, that's going to be a positive thing for Google. It's going to be more content for them to crawl. It's going to be more information that they can read and therefore rank you higher on Google. Do tracked phone lines on directories like Yelp hurt my keyword rankings? So we spoke a little bit about consistent NAP, or name, address, and phone number. So when it comes to tracked phone lines, that's very popular. We implement tracked phone lines here at Blue Corona as part of all of our SEO campaigns. And when you use a tracked phone line, it really just depends on the investment that you're making in that platform. Using Yelp in particular as an example, it really depends on that investment and how important is it to you to understand your ROI. Google likes to see the same phone number listed on Google My Business as it does Yelp, as it does to any other directory. And when you add in a tracked phone line, it's going to see that inconsistency there. Okay. Now, Google, you may get dinged a little bit. You might not get significantly lower search rankings by having a tracked phone line on Yelp. However, if you're investing thousands of dollars with Yelp advertising, for example, it's very important to know how many calls you're generating and what that ROI looks like to help you make better marketing decisions in the future. So it really just depends on your level of investment on those directories and how important it is to you to understand your ROI. I've had a couple people ask if they could have either a recording or a transcript of today's webinar. We will be sending this webinar or uploading this webinar to our own website as well as YouTube. For anyone that has asked for a transcript or recording, I have bookmarked your question there, and I will personally send you links to the recording, a follow-up. It will take a day or two for us to convert this recording, get it uploaded to YouTube, and then installed on our website. But I will definitely be sharing that link with everybody. And you'll also be getting a recap email as well with a link to that recording when it's ready. How to optimize for a web-based seller only without a local store or service. So if you're an online retailer or an e-commerce business, you're still going to want to get local backlinks. You're still going to want to get other companies to link to your products or to your homepage, just as if you would if you were a local store or a service area business. All the same ranking factors that Google evaluates service area business for apply to e-commerce. However, they just might be, what's important to e-commerce rankings or online retail might be a little different. So things like product reviews are going to be very important, generating lots of product reviews with high ratings, like a 5.0 rating out of 5 stars. Those are going to be really important. Adding information-rich and keyword-rich product descriptions are also going to be really important. So if you're selling, let's say, if you're a mattress retailer, you're going to want to make sure that all of your product descriptions are optimized for the mattress size, what the mattress is made up of, and all that relevant information and so on. So a lot of the same practices still apply. You're just applying it to your products as opposed to your services. I'm linked to 4 other automotive businesses nearby. Should I not be linked to them? You've got me scared about that now. So Jay, thank you for that question. Would you mind chiming in? When you say you're linked to 4 other automotive businesses nearby, could you provide some more information? Are they 4 other auto dealers that you own? Or are they just neighboring competitors that you're friendly with? If they're competitors, it depends on how they're linking. My email, Jay, is Brandon@Blue Corona, BRANDON @BlueCorona. If you send me an email with some more information, I'd be happy to dig into that further. Without really looking at it, I can't really give you a fair answer. I wouldn't want to lead you down the wrong path. How many more webinars are you doing? They're great. I'm an info sponge. Anyone in attendance today are going to be receiving all of our webinar invites. We typically like to host 1 or 2 a month. You may have been invited to a next door webinar that we are going to be running tomorrow. Unfortunately, if you do join that webinar, you'll have to hear my voice again. But we're going to be running a webinar tomorrow about next door advertising as well. And then we have a few more webinars scheduled throughout the year. All right, that looks like it does it today for questions. We're coming up on 3 p.m. here on the East Coast. So once again, I want to thank everyone in attendance here today. And again, if you wouldn't mind filling out that survey for us, we are going to pick a lucky winner to send an Amazon gift card to. So we truly would like to hear your feedback on how we can improve, what other topics you want to hear about. So complete that survey. You're automatically entered to win the Amazon gift card, and we will be notifying the winner via email later this week. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.